Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, I'm in VR again, and I'm on obviously a virtual cruise ship here. Um, this video is going to be about digital cruising. So it's something that's going on at my work. We're trying to look at how to make cruise ships more climate neutral or climate friendly even. And obviously cruise ships are kind of one of the worst offenders out there. They effectively don't really transport anything useful. So they go from point A, go in a circle, around some islands and back to point A. They are very power intensive because of the needs of holidaymakers. So you need a lot of energy to keep them cool, to make the food. They're, of course, an engineering marvel. You know, what goes into the building of a cruise ship is amazing. And the cruise ship industry really has this challenge, like how to make cruising more climate friendly or sustainable, whatever you call it. And there's all sorts of work going on from mechanical engineering, thermodynamic engineering, fuel engineering, all of the kind of things you would expect, engineers to do to try and make a physical cruise ship more sustainable. And it's a big challenge. And I'm working on that personally in my day job. But I do like to dream now and then and understand what's possible in the digital realm because I'm somebody who's kind of grown up and lived digitally. So I wanted to explore what's possible in terms of digital cruising. Clearly, digital cruising would be a very different thing from going on let's say, a real world cruise. A real world cruise, is a holiday. It's an experience that your kids never forget. It's a adventure. It's all of these things which we get when we physically go somewhere. It's luxury, it's things which you get when you leave your house. And part of going on a cruise is really all about leaving your house, doing something different, being in the sun, being in a place where you can relax and have plenty of things to do, like you can see here. But digital cruising, I think, could be a thing. So I wanted to explore that. And to do that, I wanted to find the best digital let's say, experiences that there are today. So I've started with VRCHAT. VRCHAT is a social VR application where people essentially put on their VR headsets and they come into worlds like this simply to relax, just to hang out. And that's an experience, of course. That's something that's part of the cruise experience, to hang out with other people and meet new people. So already there, there's an element where you could say digital cruising is possible. Of course, I'm not thinking about digital cruising like you go away for a week and put your VR headset on. I'm thinking about digital cruising being more of a product that you consume like watching Netflix. So you sit down and watch, 2, 3 hours of Netflix easily, or maybe the kids are putting their Xbox or PlayStation on. And I'm thinking maybe the digital cruise is something you go into and just nibble at. So you go in for like an hour at a time and meet some friends or catch a virtual concert. So if anybody out there knows VRChat, you know that you can already have virtual concerts, virtual theater pieces. There's all sorts of entertainment that goes on in the digital world in spaces like this. Now, this is a very low fidelity cruise ship. You can see there are some spaces in here where people could theoretically do a show. But when you get up close, it's quite kind of low fidelity. So I wanted to show you some other worlds just to get that discussion going and see what you guys think about that. So this is, I think it's a copy of Oasis of the Seas. As you can see, there's some spaces in here which you can basically hang out in with your friends. So you've got the kind of I'm just going up the front here. So you've got the kind of dome area, you've got pools, chill out areas. It's just a large hangout space. And what I'm going to do is just load up some other worlds so you can see what's possible, at least in VRChat. So I've got this one. I'm just going to take a few clicks here because I'm going to like load them in a private instance. So the world is loading. I don't see it yet. All right, so now I'm in. And now you get the camera again. So this is a cruise suite. That's what the name of the world is called. Let me just double check that again. Cruise ship suite, that's what it's called. And it's created by Zenolith. All right. And if I turn the camera around here, you'll see that it's basically a highly detailed 3D model of a little imaginary suite in a cruise ship. And this has probably been created in some kind of 3D modeling or content creation tool like Cinema 4D, Blender even. Not too sure what people really use for these. As you can see, it's a pretty accurate representation of a space. You can see here there's even a bathroom. It's nicely lit. Yeah, and the idea, of course, is that this is just a place to hang out. There you go. With your friends, right? There's not much else you can do in VRCHAT these days. We've even got the balcony out here with a beautiful night sky with some kind of moving stars and the sparkly sea. So yeah, it's literally a hangout place. That's all you can do, but it does show you the kind of quality of 3D modeling you can have. Shadows. You can see even here there's a magazine if I turn around, which might even be kind of readable. Yeah. You could put on music here. You can watch videos together on that sofa, and that's really about it in terms of what you can do in a world like that. So you can just like hang out in a space like this. Oh, there you go, some weird tracking. So now I'm going to take you to a world which is going to have a bit more, is a larger world, but still relatively high detail. So let's have a look at this. So this world is called the Royal Zeppelin. So I'm seeing a loading screen now. And it's a steampunk cruise ship. All right, so here we are. And if I grab the camera again, you'll see it's basically steampunk style. So there's lots of metal and wood, and it's kind of futuristic but old-fashioned at the same time. So I'll flip the camera around and I'll give you a quick tour of this. So again, bear in mind, this is probably just a place where you might want to hang out. If I grab the camera, you'll see that there's the bridge there, which we'll have a look at in a second. And over here, I think this goes to the engine room. I'm going to stand up. I'm sitting down, actually, so you get a better impression of the height. But you can see it's fairly detailed. There's a lot of textures work gone into this. There's some ornate decoration here. And here's a kind of lounge up on the panorama deck, I would probably say. And there's a big dance floor here. So you can, believe it or not, in VR, come in here and dance. There are people who've got full body tracking suits, if you like. So they wear trackers on their feet, and they can effectively do dancing. You've got a DJ decks here, a booth. I don't think it works. Maybe the microphone here. No. So this is all the decoration, but as you can see, it's a nice environment to have a boogie with your friends. So that is possible in digital cruising today. Down here, let's have a look. We've got a couple of other rooms in the back here. So that's the restrooms, and then hidden away in here, and these doors just open when I walk up to them. There's actually a food court. So it looks very 70s with these wooden panels. But you can see here, you could do role playing and simulate eating. It's clearly something that you're not able to do in virtual cruising, is to enjoy a good meal, but you could at least sit down with some friends, pretend to eat if that's your thing. And I think we shouldn't underestimate how many people do like role playing this kind of stuff. Pretend to eat and just pretend that you're sitting around a table with your friends. I think that's a thing these days. There's another lounge here. This is just a small smoking lounge, not too much to see there. I'll keep it short because there's a lot to see. And then we've got the bridge here, which is below. So this is quite cool. We've got a little corridor here. And you see there's quite a nice rain effect on the window. Pretty much nothing outside to see. A very simply simulated ocean. And this is pretty cool. So here we go. We are in the bridge. So it's like an airship, actually. That's cool. Look at that. So it's an airship. We're in the bridge, which is underneath. The engine room we'll go into in a moment. We've been in this guest room here, and we'll go up to this big hall afterwards. Captain's cabin and the bridge at the front, and then this engine room. So let's do this. So I've got some buttons here. So maybe we can steer. Let's have a look at this. Nope. There's some interaction here. So what we're going to do is unlock this engine room. Right. And then there's a captain's cabin behind the wall there. But in order to keep this nice and short, we'll go out and have a look at the engine room. So this is an example of a high resolution or a high fidelity 3D environment. But as you can see, there's more interaction here. So I've actually opened up. This is cool. So we've got restricted area and then this big dark area with these are reactors in here, pipes and so on. A big engine room, as you can see there, with steam. So there's special effects, there's sounds, and we're going to come back out again. So this is all possible today in, games, things like Fortnite. All of these kind of things are possible to have interaction, to have some simple physics going on. So if I just grab this, we'll go up in the elevator. And it does a load. And here we are. And we've got this cool room up here. So you can see, of course, it takes quite a big effort to create these three-dimensional spaces, to model them effectively. But I believe you could, use this as a place to watch movies together with friends. Typically, these applications support, like 20 people comfortably in the same space at the same time. So you could have 20 people in here. You could imagine what that's like with young people today. They're just like screaming and shouting. Also in VR. And you could have a shared experience. So there are some elements of the cruise experience which are possible today, even in things like in VRCHAT, or this could be Roblox, I guess, or it could be Fortnite as well. But VRCHAT is the one where I'm literally, inside this model, as you can see when I switch to selfie. So I feel like I'm in this space. And if I was here with other people, I would certainly feel like I'm sharing an experience with them more than if I was just playing a game like Fortnite. So this is an example of, let's say, a 3D environment. It's a fantasy one, so that's the other thing. This could be an airship. It could be flying around. You could, in theory, have video of the real world going on, passing the windows outside. That's relatively easy to do. You just need to record a 360 video or something like that. Or you could even have, street view photographs from Google. Or you could even have something like Microsoft Flight Simulator, where they've got a digital twin of the world, and that could be your scenery. So you could simply have this feeling of experiencing a journey virtually or digitally. So the final one I'm going to show you is a real fantasy cruise. So we'll take you on this one. We'll take you on this one quickly. So this one is called Interplanetary Cruise. And you can see a little bit of it as it loads in there. So this world is a very small 3D file. So it's a very efficient world. And if I grab this, you'll see that I'm in outer space. And then there's a rotating space station out the window. And if I switch my camera around, so you see out the front, just walk up to that. You can actually move around in that full giant space station. So I'll show you that. So we're just going to walk into this enter sign here, and we teleport into, this is the central hub of it. And as you can see, it's circular. So this is the hub, if you like, of that big wheel. Now, the interesting thing is that they've tricked the physics here. And I'll try and change the camera again so that I can actually walk along this as if it's a flat floor. So the world, if I switch the camera to the front, this is, again, something you can do in computer worlds. So you can see here, I'm walking on a flat floor if I look down, but if I walk up, that's clearly, you can see it there as well, that's clearly a vertical, wall over there. So we walk over here, and here's a nice map. So we're in the hub in the middle, and we're going to go, you'll see in a second. So we're in the hub, we're going to teleport or take the lift to this outer ring, and we'll travel around that a little bit. So the way you do that is you just go into these elevators, and I hit this teleport button, and there I am in the outer ring. So the outer ring is pretty cool. We have like 2 giant spaces. So this is far, far bigger than the other one. This is like, I don't know, 600 meters high or something. It's like a giant, giant hallway. There's even some walkways across, and in fact, I'll show you what this is up here. So I can take an elevator right out, and as you guessed it, we'll go out onto effectively the roof of the space station. So here we go. I press this button, and here we are magically. So yeah, this door looks like it's green. I'm just going to show you that it goes outside. So just walk through this one. I think you're supposed to walk out here. Oh, wow. So now I'm walking on this giant outer ring of the space station. And you can see we're rotating this. It makes me a little bit disorientated. And there we go. This is that elevator that takes you back to the central hub there. And underneath me, in this giant thing down here, this is the the world, if you like. So let's go back in there. So my point with this world is that you can have really fantasy experiences, things which are just not possible at all in the real world, in these kind of digital cruises or digital experiences. So this bit you're not going to really believe, but that over there looks like a train track, and this is actually a working train system. I've just missed it. Damn. So it's still all curved very slightly here, and this is a train system which allows me to move around this world here. So I'm just gonna see, there's the other train pulling up, and don't forget, like, this is all possible to do with these days the technology supports like 20 people, something like that. And you can have this shared experience. So people make these worlds so you can kind of hang around in them, and it's kind of fun to do stuff when you're hanging around in VR digitally. So, let's get on the train, let's go to this place, let's go to that restaurant, all these kinds. Even though they're virtual, the people who play these, experiences or games are having a shared experience, and that's the point. And I think for me, okay, it doesn't need to be in the context of a cruise ship, but a cruise ship has loads of things to do. It has the fact that you're traveling through space and, to different locations, so your context is always changing. Then on board the cruise ship, especially something like Icon, you've got loads of things to do. And I think that's what makes, the idea of a digital cruise ship something very interesting. So we're just going to go in here. So I can just jump in the train, as you can see. Again, it's pretty plain. There's no fancy textures in here. But when we come up the front here, we swap the camera around again, you'll see that we can have this train ride. So there we go. So the train is moving. and we'll just get off at the next stop. So again, you can have these simple experiences effectively just traveling around. You can see a bit of a glimpse of where we're going there. The fact that you do them with other people makes it a shared experience, something you remember. And if you do it in virtual reality, you certainly remember it as if it's a real thing. So as you can see here, we've come to some kind of park accommodation area. And we're going to go outside. It's a bit jerky when the train stops. Here we go. And look at that. So there's like a fake sky, it's just blue. We've got still got the stars spinning past at high speed. And yeah, here we are in a park. Let's just walk onto this park here. And you don't get the same experience as me watching this on a 2D screen, but this is a giant space. It feels like I'm in a giant space. I can see the train coming about a kilometer away there. We've got these hotel rooms, which are like real scale to me. They feel like a 1-to-1 scale. And then we've got this elevator again there, and the rest of the section which extends out. So that's it from me. I've got some cool blue lighting going on. So that's it from me. That's a little, I don't know why I do these things. It's a little insight into what's possible in virtual reality, in digital cruising today. So you can have a common experience. You could go to concerts. So there are people doing like live concerts in Fortnite. That could be part of a digital cruise experience. You can model a detailed 3D model of a ship. If you want to see a really good example of a 3D model on the ship, look up the Titanic 401 demo. So there's a company or a small group of people, enthusiasts, who've modeled the Titanic in amazing detail. Now, and you can see this in one of my other VR videos. And if you imagine going on the Titanic, that's something that people would pay money for, I think, even digitally. But it needs not just the 3D model. You need real people to make a 3D model like this into an experience. Whether it's, a theater show, a Disney musical, whether it's, playing murder mystery on the Titanic at nighttime, you need people to make those environments into something really special. And I think that's possible today if people put their minds together with the technology that's out there, like VRCHAT as a platform, and the creativity that we inherently have as humans. So I don't think it's a dystopian picture. Digital cruising could be simply a new form of entertainment that goes alongside other things like going on a real cruise, which of course we are trying to make more sustainable, Meyer. Okay, that's all from me. All the best. I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to stop the video here.